I wrote an article in The Guardian explaining why I wasn't going to debate with him. And I said, not only will I not be appearing on the stage in Oxford with this man, I will not be appearing in Birmingham, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Dublin, Bristol, and if time allows, Penzance, you know.
I was a fundamentalist Christian for more than 25 years and thought that I was supposed to be a preacher. I read the Bible as a child, as a teenager, and then other times as an adult as well. And I remember as I was finding my way out of religion, even though that's not what it felt like at the time, I was studying with the goal of trying to find a way to convince my atheist roommate that he needed Jesus so that we could be in heaven together. And I would read what atheists on some occasion would have to say about the Bible, or what non-Christians would say about the Bible. And when I'd hear what they'd say, I'd say, oh, no, that's not right. I've read this, I've read it many times, I was in Sunday school, you're taking it out of context, you are missing some extra thing. And then I would find, the more I studied, the more I began to realize that no, it wasn't so much that non-believers were taking it out of context, I was putting it into a context that completely biased the way I read it. If, in fact, there is a God who is morally perfect, then when he orders the slaughter of the Midianites, well, that must have been a good thing. There's no way it was a bad thing. When he says that you can have slaves, there must have been some good reason for that. Certainly a morally perfect being, if slavery was actually wrong and this wasn't the case, so you make all these excuses. And I don't know that it's that different when we're talking religion or politics or just in general what we believe about the world we inhabit. Our biases impact everything, and I think the biggest fear I have is that, okay, I've discovered my biases that led me to these conclusions. So now I'm right. Now I'm free of bias, right? So I'm good. And then you find another one and another one. And I was a fan of professional wrestling, and so there's this idea of smarts and marks and then half smarts. And the same thing works in the con artist field and with magic. If you know how people are deceived, you exploit that. And as soon as you think you can't be deceived, you are doomed. You're the one who is now in this position where, I am the enlightened one. I'm not going to fall prey to that again. And that almost guarantees that you're going to fall prey to 10 other things because you've blinded yourself to the possibility that you could be fooled.
I'm very interested in the profession of magic in conjuring because it is a professional deceit, but it seems so much like a miracle that I sort of feel it ought to be a salutary lesson to people who are influenced by apparent miracles. I mean, when you think about what a great conjurer can do, I mean, turning water into wine would be child's play, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Barry and Stuart do it, and they do it very well. So there's one thing that, kind of a side subject that I thought we'd talk about for a minute, and that's debates, because that's what I do. I live to debate. I will debate almost anybody, although there are some people who I won't debate again for reasons some of you probably already know. There's a couple of different issues here. There's a constant battle over, should scientists be debating creationists? I think the general line is no, that it seems to elevate that. But we're in this position where, as bizarre as it feels to us, we represent a minority view. The overwhelming majority of people have some sort of God belief, and so we're in this constant struggle as this minority. How should we engage on those topics? Should it not be the scientists doing it? Is it so much theater that anybody who happens to be good at it should be doing it?
I'm fond of quoting Robert May, who was an Australian scientist working in Britain, who became very distinguished. He became the president of the Royal Society, which is the sort of most distinguished position you can hold as a scientist in Britain. And when he's invited to have a debate with the creationist, he says, "That would look great on your CV, not so good on mine." Which is one way of expressing the point you make about the elevation. I mean, having two chairs on a stage, one with a scientist and one with a creationist, it gives the audience the impression that there's a kind of equality to start off with, that there's really something here to debate about, which of course there isn't. There is no debate to be had. The downside to refusing to debate these people is that they then portray you as a coward, or they say, you know you'll lose the debate, so you don't want to do it.
Right.
I've even had somebody who I won't name use the empty chair ploy against me to actually invite me to have a debate with him. I refused. Actually, I refused. I already had a prior engagement in London at the time. So he put an empty chair on the stage to signify the fact that I wasn't there. I sort of feel it's one thing to exploit a scientist by using him. It's to use his absence seems to me to be. I wrote an article in The Guardian explaining why I wasn't going to debate with him, and I said, not only will I not be appearing on the stage in Oxford with this man, I will not be appearing in Birmingham, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Dublin, Bristol, and if time allows, Penzance, you know.
And out of deference to your desire to not name him, I won't name him either, but I will say that while this individual desperately wants to debate you, he is desperate to avoid debating me. And he refuses. We even tried to arrange an event where instead of doing a debate, the two of us would sit in chairs exactly like this and talk about our views. And no, there's no way that's going to happen. And that's fine, because you get to decide who you want to engage with, and so does he, and so did I. But he did something rather peculiar. After multiple refusals, he stated that the reason he wouldn't debate me is because I don't have a terminal degree in the relevant field, which is strange because we hadn't even chosen a topic yet. And if the topic were perhaps secular humanism, then I do have a terminal degree in secular humanism, because to my knowledge, there's not one. And I'm pretty sure most secular humanist organizations would gladly give me an honorary terminal degree in order to do the debate. And yet this person runs around desperate to debate scientists on issues in fields where he doesn't have a terminal degree. He's got a degree in philosophy, but he doesn't have a degree in astrophysics or biology. And so my suggestion would be to all of the godless, heathen cohorts of mine who happen to have terminal degrees, stop agreeing to debate him and just say that he doesn't have a terminal degree in the field, and you're just using his own criteria to avoid debating him. So.
I've never heard the phrase terminal degree before. It sounds a bit ominous to me. Like...
And that's why I've avoided getting one. It was just terrifying.